Life Academy would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we record this podcast on.
Trigger warning for this episode, we discuss adult themes, body image, diet culture, and it contains some coarse language. So please be aware if you have little ears around.
Hello and welcome to
Life Academy!
I'm your host, Dena Amy Kaplan.
And I'm your host, Alicia Bennett.
On screen frenemies.
To real life besties.
Stumbling our way through life. Hi, babes.
Hi, my darling. How are you?
I'm really good. I've got some exciting news to tell you.
Do you?
Yes.
Please tell me.
Maya used the potty yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
My little girl is potty trained.
Baby.
She did a little wee in a potty.
Oh, good girl. Was she so excited?
Good girl.
Who's a good girl?
Who's a good girl? She was so excited. She's like, Mama, look, I did a wee in a potty.
Oh,
and then I gave her a sticker and it was fine. Then I had to go wash her, which was, gross, but whatever.
Yeah,
but I'm so proud. So we're there because we've been in the process of potty training where she tells us she needs to go, but then she stays in her nappy and she sits on the toilet and does it in her nappy.
That's clever.
But now she's asking for her nappy to be off and then she sits there for a while. She's so funny. She sits there with her legs like spread across it. Like
so does Isla.
and then she just like sits there looking at me and then all of a sudden I'll just hear like
little tinkle.
Little dribbles and then she's like, I did it. And I'm like, I'm so proud of you.
That's so cute.
Yeah, so that's that. Also, I am very excited because my Bali trip with Alex is coming up.
Yay.
And I just wanted to reach out to our listeners and say if anyone has any recommendations for some spicy books, that's what I want to read in Bali because I'm going to have time to have some spicy time.
Yes.
And I feel like when I read a spicy book, it gets me in the mood.
Hell yeah.
So if you've got, I think there's like a name for it, fairy fluff. No, what's it called? There's a name for it.
Smut.
Smut.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, someone said it's fairy smut.
Oh.
I think.
I have no idea.
It's not, there's a word. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm looking for some, I'm going to call it fairy smut.
Cute.
Yeah. Some good books. I've heard of a whole bunch.
There's going to be so many recommendations because I've got a few friends that are like absolute bookworms. But like go hard for the smart.
I want whatever's going to make me the horniest.
Great.
Is my, that's like
People
what
are
I'm
going to have so many recommendations for you. I'm really excited for
Because
you.
this holiday in Bali, I'm alone with my man. It's time to spice it up.
Nice.
So that is what I'm looking for. How about you? What's going on?
So no Bali trip for me. However, I have a little bit of a, you know how you had your fake tan story where you were like, how did I fuck this up so badly?
Yeah.
I have a story about curling my hair, right? I am a little bit of a pro with it. I have done it, I don't know how many times, and never in my life have I burnt myself, right? I've like touched a teeny bit and been like, oh. But like this was so stupid and I did it multiple times in the one thing of like curling my hair. I burnt the shit out of my finger so much so that like straight away a huge freaking, what do they call it? Blister came up on my finger. And then I burnt my freaking forehead to the point of where it was like now it's scabbing off.
What is going on?
Yeah.
Were you using a different tool?
Nah, just haven't done it for a while because winter and everyone's been sick and I haven't gone anywhere and done anything. But this was like, I felt just dumb. I was like, how did I do that twice?
Yeah, this is
you dumb.
When us veterans, when we mess up this stuff, it's like, what is going on?
It was, I was just very like because I burnt myself and then Zach was like leaving to go somewhere. He's like, don't burn yourself again. See you, babe. I was like,
and
bye, I won't. And literally like 5 minutes after he walked out the door burned the shit out of my head. And I was like, how the fuck did that happen?
What's the life lesson?
Don't go so long without curling your hair.
I feel like there's two life lessons. One, keep it in a slick bun, or to curl your hair more often.
Just don't wash your hair.
Yeah,
just keep the slick bun.
You look so good in a slick bun. Honestly, if it means not burning yourself, just look after your own OH&S.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah.
Isla also talking about like potty training and stuff. Isla is so capable and like she's done all of the things on the potty before and she just has no interest whatsoever.
You can't force it. I've been told by everyone when they want to go, they'll go. And
She used to want to. She used to really want to. Like, can I go on my potty? Like, yeah, girl, you can. She was so excited by it. And I was like, we could do this. And I just never did because I was like, she was probably about like, I don't know, 18 months when she first did a poop on the potty. And I was like, holy shit. It's like, is my kid okay? And then yeah, now it's just like she legitimately cannot be bothered and doesn't want to do it. She goes, I'm going to go and hide and do a poos. And I was like, okay, baby, do you want to do it on the toilet? She's like, nah. I was like, are you sure? Nah, no, let me hide. I was like, oh, okay.
I guess she's found like she's associating it with a game now, you know, where she's hiding and having Well, it's just, I've been told by all the experts that when a kid, like when they decide and they know, then they start doing it. Like you don't need to push it or force it. Like it'll just happen naturally.
Ready.
Yeah, she'll tell you when she's ready.
Not even it's not a game for her. She just wants to be alone when she's on the, like when she, you know, like, and we use that when we're on the toilet. Like if she walks in on me or Zach, and she wants to, you know, either have a chat or have a cuddle. And I'm like, baby, you know how you like to go and hide and do a poos? I was like, can you leave me alone, please? Like, let me pee or poop in peace.
Politely fuck off, please.
Just a little bit more poo talk for you guys.
I was about to say, I don't think we have had a single episode without pee or poo talk.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
I'm waiting for the t-shirts to arrive. There's got to be a fan out there who does graphic design and is going to send us in our poo era t-shirts, and we are going to wear them on stage, on tour one day.
100%.
Or maybe we could call the tour the poo era. Like, you know how Taylor Swift had her eras tour?
Yes.
Ours could be poo eras tour.
Yep. Love that.
I actually kind of love it.
Love that.
Merch, like, and everything.
All right. Copywriting that.
Okay, yeah, don't steal our idea.
I don't think anyone will. Poo zero.
No one's going to steal that. No one's going to steal that idea. What are we talking about?
Well, I'm glad we've started this episode off with some laughs because it's a heavy one.
Okay.
We are going to go and dive deep into our mental health journeys part 2.
It doesn't have to be heavy.
It doesn't have to be heavy, but I do feel like
it is heavy.
It is.
Am I kidding?
A little heavy because it is filled with a little bit of, you know, sadness. We are talking about some of our dark times when it comes to mental health. We can touch on the happy times in our mental health, but I do think being able to talk about how hard things have been for us in our lives and the things that we did to maybe get through all that can really possibly help some of our listeners get through a tough time that they're going through.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like right now there are so many people struggling. Like I've got just a lot of people in my life at the moment who I'm very much like being the support person of.
Yeah.
A lot of close girlfriends who are really struggling, and it's really nice to not be in the thick of it and to be able to be of support to people because for so long I was the one needing support and I was the one in crisis.
Yeah.
But it feels like a very relevant thing for us to dive back into because people are really struggling and they often don't know what to do. And a question I get all the time, and actually someone sent this in a DM to me this morning in response to one of our videos, and the question you asked me was like, how do you know when you have sort of got through the worst and you're starting to feel better? Like, what are the signs? And this person asked me like, but aren't you scared of a relapse? Aren't you scared that you're going to go backwards? And I was like, I responded, I was like, yeah, every day of my life.
Terrified.
Like every day of my life, I'm so worried that like that there's this impending doom feeling that is coming for me, you know, and it's going to come back. And she was like, well, what do you do about that? And I was like, well, I practice acceptance and presence, and I'm very proactive with the things that help me stay well. And I do a lot of therapy and I do all the things that I have to do to stay well. But I think that's just like such a common thing for people who have been through the depths of darkness and then had some recovery, like that fear of it coming back again. Or like someone who, you know, she was talking about her panic attacks. Like she's like, aren't you scared of the panic attacks coming back? And I'm like, yeah, of course I am. But I have to learn to live in the present moment. And right now I'm not having panic attacks and I am sleeping and I am doing okay. And yes, that all might turn to shit. And I'm scared of that all the time. Sometimes I'm like, what if it starts happening while we're doing this podcast and I'm not going to be able to podcast anymore and I'm going to let down Alicia? Like that feeling of fear is always there for me. So yeah, I think it's good that we're going to talk more about this because I know for a fact that people are having a hard time. And I think hearing our stories and our vulnerabilities is really, I think it helps people feel less alone.
I do have a question. I can start with me if you like, but I also I know that your journey has been super duper deep with also a lot of help from professionals as well. Whereas I've kind of gone a little bit of, like on a different journey. So I would really love to hear about your experiences potentially in rehab and then also when you've gone into hospitals and Cabrini for your mental health when you were struggling and that's where you met Professor Kulkarni. I would love to hear about your times.
Okay.
Well, it sounds – I would love to hear about that. No, it would be really eye-opening, I think.
Okay, well, rehab is fucking wild and I don't recommend it. So if you can not be an addict and not have substance use disorder, I highly recommend going down that path because rehab is fucked.
Wow.
But I don't want that to scare anyone who needs help. It's fucked, but it's also the best thing I ever did because I got clean and sober. But
was it something that you really wanted and was seeking for yourself to go into rehab?
I've actually got a pretty crazy story about how I ended up going into rehab.
The first time?
The first time. So I came back to Melbourne. I was having crazy withdrawals from Xanax. I think I told you on our last episode. I was shaking. I couldn't function. I couldn't do anything. I don't really know how to describe how bad benzo withdrawals are, but it was just like the worst thing ever. And one day I got into an Uber and the Uber driver, she took one look at me and she was like, "Are you in withdrawals?" And I was like, "What?" And she was like, I'm in NA and AA and I'd love to take you to a meeting. Like,
I just got chills.
Yeah.
What?
And
She
I was
just
like,
could
what?
see it.
She could just see how much pain I was in. I just broke down into tears and I told her my story and she was like, "Let me take you to a meeting." So that night she took me to my first ever NA meeting and I was just like a mess. There was just all these people sitting in a circle telling their stories of addiction and recovery. And I was there being like just shaking and crying. And when you go to a meeting, they always say like, if it's your first time, if the most important person in the room is the newbie, like the newest people. And that's why like people are like, why are people who have been sober for 27 years still coming to meetings? And it's because the whole point of the meetings is to be of service to the new person in the room.
Right.
And hearing their stories of, 20 years of sobriety helps the newbie in the room. So I was like, I put up my hand saying this was my first meeting. And then they asked me to share and I could barely share. I was crying so much. I was like, my nervous system was fucked. I was detoxing, and withdrawing and going cold turkey and but I was crying and I just said, I've found myself addicted to these pills and I don't know what to do. Like none of my friends have been through anything like this. I don't know anyone who's been through anything like this. I'm not from a family that's dealt with substance use disorder. Like I don't know what to do and I'm terrified and I don't know how to get off these pills and I don't know how to live like this because like I'm going to kill myself. Like I just can't, I can't do this. And at the end of the meeting, all these women came up to me, which is also like what happens in the meetings. And they gave me their phone numbers and they said like, call us and reach out, just pick up the phone every day and call and blah, blah, blah. And they were just like so lovely. And I was so overwhelmed by people's kindness. And I had so much gratitude for there's a lot of controversy around NA and AA and the pros and cons, but my experience of it has always been that it's like a really beautiful, people are being of service, it's for me always been a really beautiful experience. Having said that, I'm not a current member and I don't frequent meetings. I probably should. But, you know, I've got a sponsor and I have my sober sisters, like as I call them, and they're like two of my closest friends. And I speak to them pretty much every day of my life because they're like the only people in my life who really understand living with addiction and living with the crazy mind that it comes with.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so at the end of the meeting, my Uber driver, now friend, Liv is her name, she drove me home and she said, if you want me to help you get into a rehab, I can do that. And they can help you, you know, get off this stuff and do it safely and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I really want to do that. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to do this alone. And so she helped me get into a rehab, which is a very popular rehab and like known to be one of the best rehabs in terms of its results, not in terms of its beauty or any. It is dank. It is like disgusting and so basic. But it has like a very good reputation for helping people get clean and sober. So she got me a meeting or a call with this place and I went in and I met like their main doctor and he was like, yeah, we've got to get you off all this stuff, blah, blah, blah.
With you, I'm so sorry to cut the story off, but with you, when she said that, did you have like a little feeling of like, oh, good, well, I can take my pills tonight because I'm going to rehab so I don't have to go cold turkey because I will once I get in there?
I didn't have any pills.
Right.
So I was cold turkey already.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I had Valium. So I had that from the doctors because they were like helping me sort of taper off myself. But I didn't have any Xanax. I wouldn't have known where to access that in Australia or like and doctors wouldn't give that to me. So I don't really remember what I felt other than relief that maybe there was there was help out there and I could just like collapse to my knees, put my hands up in the air and say, please help me. I don't know how to do this alone. And I went into rehab with a very like Dena ambitious attitude. Like I'm going to get off this stuff. I'm going to be the best recovered girl there is, you know, like I'm going to be the star of NA, like I'm going to be the rehab star, like I'll do everything the right way, blah, blah, blah. But it was fucked. Like the experience was absolutely awful. And unfortunately for me, that rehab was not the right place for me, which I've kind of mentioned before. If you're coming off benzos or opioids, things that like are pharmaceutical medications, you really need to do it really slowly and like you need to taper very, very slowly and the brain and the body needs time to adjust. But in these rehabs, they treat all drugs and alcohol in the same way where it's, so you've got like 2 weeks and they pull you off it or, you know, like a week and you're off it and then you do the therapy and the modalities and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, what it did was it left me with like a really injured, broken nervous system because it was way too fast to pull me off the benzos. Like that's not how it should have been done. But just to give you an idea of like what rehab was like I arrived and like they took me on a tour around the rehab and there's like, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 people, guys and girls. Everyone's like.
There's guys and girls in there all together?
All together.
Interesting.
In this one. Yeah. There was like heaps of hot guys. So I was like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
But I was like sobbing and crying and terrified. I was really scared. I remember like just taking my suitcase and the first thing they did was look through your suitcase and like look through everything, like look through your shoes and all this stuff.
So invasive.
Because like I'm sure people sneak in drugs and alcohol.
For sure.
Yeah. So I hadn't snuck anything in, but they like ripped my bag apart looking for things. And then they're like, all right, we'll take you on a tour around the place. And they did. And I just like noticed all the hot guys mainly. And then, but I also noticed how like dank everything was. Like the couch looked like 70 years old and like it had never been washed. And they took away everything. So there was no phones, no books, no TV, no newspapers, no chocolate or sweets or treats, no outside food, nothing. All you were allowed to read was like religious things. So I could
So you were like going to prison.
It's exactly like prison.
How weird.
This rehab is like prison. So it's like boot camp prison.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can read
Just with the
religious
therapy.
materials. So I took in a Torah because I was like, what else am I going to read?
Yeah.
And you're not allowed, like if you're a smoker, like you're not allowed vapes, you're not allowed to smoke, you're not allowed caffeine, no coffee.
God, everyone's going to be coming like off everything. What?
So everyone is detoxing off everything. And then they put you in a room and you're in shared rooms. And so the room I was in, I arrived and it was like something out of a movie. Like this girl who, like she's a friend now, but she was back then so cooked. And she like, I got into the room and I was like crying and she was like, hi. She's like, what's your poison? And that's like what everyone asks. That's the first question everyone asks you, what's your poison? And I was like, what? She was like, what's your poison? I'm a sex addict and a heroin addict.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh, okay. And in my head, I'm thinking, I'm sharing a room with a sex addict. Like that's all I could think.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, like I've never met a sex addict before.
Like sex addicts going to rehab in like a co-ed rehab.
Right?
Weird.
Very interesting choice.
Yep.
She's been to quite a few rehabs since then. She's now clean and sober, but it took her quite a few years. And then she was like just giving me her life story, downloading on me like about her sister overdosing and this and that and how many rehabs she'd been. And then she goes to me, should we go check out the boys? And I was like, this is the weirdest mix of prison / school camp / like, I don't even know what's going on. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I guess. And I was like walking around like crying, so freaking out. She's like, oh yeah, I'd fuck him. Like,
oh my God.
It was just wild. And then that night I tried to sleep. I couldn't sleep. And she was having night terrors. She had a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
And she was like screaming in her sleep, like, get off me. Like really. And so I didn't know what to do. And I went and I woke one of the nurses and I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to sleep in a room with this person.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, going through my own withdrawal. So I wasn't sleeping anyway. And it was just like,
what did they say? What was the answer to that?
Eventually they moved me rooms and I got a private, like a solo room, which was like so nice. And I remember putting photos up of all my family, and the only way your family could contact you was by sending through emails or letters, and they would like print them off and then put them up on the pin board for you.
Wow.
So for 6 weeks I didn't speak to anyone. I had no phone. I had
they weren't allowed
visitors,
to come and visit. Like,
no visitors.
What?
We were allowed to go for walks, like guided walks with our carers once a day. That was as much as we left the premise of the building. So yeah, it was very prison vibes.
Yeah.
There was some fun things we did, like art therapy, which I like to this day think was just so funny because it's just there's like such a diverse group of people. Like addiction does not discriminate. Yeah. So there was just everyone, a lot of people who were there like court ordered. So a lot of criminals who were there, a lot of ex-criminals, and then there was some doctors that were there, you know, who were addicted to prescription pills, like writing themselves scripts. And, you know, there was one girl I just will never forget. She was like writing herself sleeping pill scripts, and she was addicted to sleeping pills. And she had to leave. I think she was from Queensland, but she had to like leave Queensland because if she got caught, she was going to lose her doctor's license. So she came to rehab in Melbourne. Wow. So like all these people, all these different demographics, all these different walks of life, and we're all put together and we're put in a room and we were given arts and crafts material. And I just remember thinking it was like the funniest, weirdest thing, seeing like these ex-cons like tattooed everywhere, pierced everywhere, and they're doing like little paintings of flowers or coloring in books. So there were like funny moments like that. And then we did like exercise PT a couple times a week. And like they would make them all do Pilates and yoga, and like that was just hilarious. Like, just seeing all of this. And on the first night I was in there, I tried to sneak into one of the boys' rooms. Like I was so out of my mind. I was just so looking for any any way to feel a little bit
Yeah.
more comfortable or safe or soothed. And there was this one guy who like, he actually looked a bit like Adam Driver. So I was like, oh, he's hot.
This is it.
Yeah. And I was just like, maybe I'll just go snuggle this one guy. But like if I had got caught even stepping over the line of the room of the next person, you get kicked out.
Right.
So the fact that I was like almost
Willing
going to sneak into someone's room on the first night, I just had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Yeah.
And then each day you learn more and more the rules. Like the rules were ridiculous and it was so strict. And I could go on for, I'll have to write a book about it one day. I could go on forever. And
please.
I honestly have always like dreamt of making a TV show about it because I just think if people could like see how insane rehabs are and what goes on. But I will say like at the end of it, it was, you know, when I finished my 6 weeks and I was off everything, I was still insane because my withdrawals and stuff was still so terrible. But like I had made the most beautiful friends who are still my like lifelong sober sister friends. And it was really like sweet. Like at the end you go around in a circle for the person that's leaving and everyone gives like a reflection to you. And like people said the kindest things to me that like I never, you know, they were seeing me at my absolute worst, weakest moment. We have to do this one thing where we like, you have to read your whole story out to the group, like from beginning to end, and all the things you have the most shame about and the most embarrassed, like the worst things you've ever done, you read out to a room of all these people. So they've seen and heard you at your absolute worst.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you know, they give you these reflections of like how far you've come and how sweet you are and how proud. And it was just really, very touching. So when I left, it was like a beautiful thing. But that place wasn't the right place for me. And I relapsed very quickly because I was not sleeping and in way too much pain. And it wasn't until I found another place out in Queensland that I actually started to get better.
Oh, in Queensland?
Yeah. But that's a little tidbit about my rehab experience. We can go into it even more on another episode. But yeah.
That's so interesting.
Your turn.
I mean, I was thinking about the last mental health episode we did and how I didn't really dive too deep. And I was saying to you before, Dee, I think the reason why I didn't necessarily dig too deep was because I felt like a lot of my mental health journey has been caused by like outside factors. And I
don't really understand that.
So kind of like situational depression,
Right.
I suppose. Like something would happen. A lot of it would be because of like relationships, whether that be romantic or platonic, like friends and just figuring out or like, you know, or the acting world and being a part of that and just external factors. And I just was kind of like, oh, you know, it's not so deep, but not to necessarily diminish like how sad and depressed I was. But I think I felt just like it wasn't enough, I guess, to tell my stories or that people would listen to it and be like, oh, well, that's boring or nothing
It's
or
just
whatever.
so relative though.
Yeah. And so
It's
I think,
all relative.
yeah, really thinking about that since then and thinking about how I felt during those moments and kind of listening to other people's stories as well. Some of, I guess, my journey. I actually wrote down some notes because it was a little hard to really think about and go deep into because it was hard to remember the pain of what was sort of like every day. And that
It's very hard to recall pain.
Yeah. Because I remember just, you know, gosh, I remember journaling. I would do all the right things. I'd wake up and I was like meditating and I was doing guided meditations and manifestation meditations. I had this little like meditation seat pad thing. Like I was like, it's going to help me. It's going to help me. I was journaling every single, like I'd meditate and then I'd do my cards and then I'd journal. When I say cards, my little like tarot cards and affirmation cards. And
so you were really turning to like spirituality to try seek.
well, I was trying to, but it wasn't making me feel any type of better. I was just like, eventually it's going to. Like I was like, if I stick to the routine and I make sure that I'm, you know, doing like, cause I'm doing all the right things. And I just still felt so empty and bleh. And I think the emptiness that you kind of feel in those situations, it wasn't like I was in pain every day and I was depressed every day, but I was just I felt so empty, so unfulfilled, so just yuck, just empty, like not feeling nothing, but that emptiness,
that apathy.
Yeah. So that was very hard. It was while I was living in America. I was in a relationship that I knew wasn't going to last, but once again, just tried to convince myself of like, no, like this is great and it's good. And I was trying to manifest so hard, just getting everything that I wanted. And it was just
it's so interesting you say that, because like I've heard it being said that you can't manifest from a place of scarcity.
Yeah.
Like you have to manifest from a place of gratitude and abundance.
Yeah.
So when people try to manifest when they're in these really shitty places, it doesn't work.
No.
Because you have to come from a place like energy-wise and vibration-wise.
From
a
feeling you're already there.
A place of abundance and gratitude. Yeah.
And I think, and that was something that I also really struggled with, was the guilt of knowing that like my life wasn't bad. There was not necessarily anything wrong. So I felt extremely guilty for feeling like that when I had this, beautiful life. But I remember writing down things in my journal, and I'd make little notes at the end of my journal sometimes of being like, if something happens to me, I just want you to know, like, I didn't kill myself. Like, because the way that I was writing would sound like I would
be suicidal.
And, it was days of like, I just want to sleep through the days. I don't want to wake up. I don't just very, And I think a lot of those kind of journaling days were happening when I was probably feeling heartbreak from situations of either relationships or friendship breakdowns, which I haven't. It's not a thing like I've had many of those, but I just remember feeling so sad, having trusted friends and figuring out like, oh, shouldn't have trusted them.
Hard relate.
Yeah, it was really, I mean, I was in LA. I was out one night with some new friends and some old friends, and having a grand old time. It was really fun. And then I was at this one club, and I got like sexually assaulted on the dance floor. Like someone was touching me inappropriately down there.
Oh my God.
And I like turned around on the dance floor. I was like, what the fuck was that? And I was dancing next to one of my new friends, and I said to him, I was like, did you just grab me? And he was like, what? No. And I was like, oh, okay. And I sort of like just kept dancing, and it happened again. And I was like, what the fuck is happening here? And once again, like I was looking around, couldn't see anything or anyone. And then it happened a third time.
What?
And I turned around and I'd like grabbed my arm and like put my arm and elbow up to this guy's neck. I was like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And he was like, whoa, 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 whoa. What I didn't realize at the time was each time he was doing that, he was reaching into my bag that was on my shoulder. Because of course you're not going to notice someone going into your bag when they're touching your vagina. So I was like, I after that instance where I was like, get the fuck away from me, and like kind of pushed him with my arm, because his arms went straight up. Like I think he was like, I've been caught, but I didn't realize what else he was doing. So he'd gone, and I was like, I'm leaving, and the group sort of left with me.
So sorry this happened to you.
It was just like at the time, like I just was a bit obviously shaken. And then when I got into the taxi on the way home with everyone, I noticed that my wallet was gone. Thank God my phone was in there, but I think the reason my phone was in there was because I had like this charger, this extra little charger that I would bring with me and plug my phone into it because it was a shit old phone and it was like starting to die. So I constantly had it plugged into this extra little charger that was the same size and shape as my phone. So that got taken. And there was something else in there that I can't remember what it was, but just like my bag was basically empty. And that's when the full like feeling of this violation just hit me. And I started having like this full-on panic attack. I'd never had anything like it before. And I was like, these noises were coming out of me and I like couldn't breathe properly. And this went on for hours. Like I didn't stop breathing like this for probably like 3 hours. And I was so out of it. And the people around me, there was only one person, one of these new friends that I had, and he was like very, very kind and was like, it's okay. I remember going into the bathroom with my girlfriends that I had known and like they were sort of trying to help me calm down, but it wasn't really working. And I could also kind of tell like they were a bit like uncomfortable or something. I don't know what it was. And then this new friend took me outside and he like got me to lay down and just started like telling me stories and kind of got me laughing and just calmed me down and grounded me. And over the coming days, I was catching up with him a little bit and really grateful and thankful for him like taking the time to just be there with me. And he ended up telling me that my friends, I say in quotation marks, had, while I was alone at different points of the night when I was having this anxiety attack or panic attack, they were saying, one guy in particular who I was sort of like a friend of my friends, apparently he had said like, oh, she's just being so dramatic. She's doing it for attention. And my friends were like agreeing with him and like talking about it. And I felt so extremely betrayed because what I was feeling was like so real for me and so scary as well. And for the people that I trusted and loved to think that I would be doing something like that for attention really hurt.
That's so, yeah.
And
I'm so sorry that happened.
I didn't think I'd cry. Yeah, it sucked. And I think I ended up feeling really alone in LA after that because I was like, I've got, a really good group of friends here and figuring out that they'd said things like that behind my back that I would be doing that rather than being there for me and having this understanding of like what had happened to me. And like I was just like, how could no one put themselves in my shoes in like in what just happened? I was like, it was so rogue and fucked up that like someone was grabbing me while they were grabbing into my bag. Like what?
Such a violation of every part of you. And the fact that these women who were meant to be your friends didn't have your back, like that is like a stab in the heart. Like it is a stab in the back and a stab in the heart. Like that makes me really sad. Like I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, it was really
I hope you did not give those people any more of your time.
No, I mean, I didn't necessarily, and this is the people pleaser in me, I think as well. And also having, I guess, empathy for them too, like not knowing what I was, really feeling or going through. It frustrated me, but I also, also being alone in LA too wasn't ideal. Yeah. So I didn't cut anyone off. And I did put a really big wall up and I just never trusted them ever again with,
How would you?
Yeah, with anything close to my heart, basically. So that really fucking sucked. And for me, like after that happening.
Do you think that was one of like the triggers that spiraled you into depression?
For sure, yeah. Like after that, just that feeling of being so alone and
so betrayed
was a very big one.
And violated.
Yeah, it was as just that situation kind of going into that was one of the things that I got into a place, like a really bad place of just feeling shit and empty and like having no belief in my beliefs anymore, you know, spiritually, just being like, nothing's happening. Like, why aren't you helping me when you're meant to help me, like, you know, spiritually, and getting my tarot cards done, and like all the things that I found solace in were just, I wasn't finding any peace. Like, it was meaningless. So yeah, it got really hard. And when COVID hit, everything just got, again, like everything was frozen for a little while there. And when I went back to Australia, when I came back to Australia, I was mind blown, and just like I forgot how good it felt to speak to my friends that I'd grown up with, and they were so there for me, and having my family, and even just like walking the streets, I found such beauty in everything. I think we were in spring coming into summer when I got back, and I found beauty in every flower. I was like, oh my gosh, like look at that. That's so beautiful. I was walking with my friend and her kids. I think I was pushing her son's pram at the time, and I was just like, look, buddy, look at the flowers. Aren't they so beautiful? But in my own mind, I was just like, my gosh, they're just stunning. And I desperately, desperately wanted to be back in Australia. By that point, I was like, I never want to go back to America. Like, I really don't want to go back there. So that was also another time, I think, where I started to go a little bit, even though there was such beauty around me, a little bit deeper into my feelings of depression, because once again, it was having to let go of dreams that I really wanted. And with COVID, having put everything on hold, and I'd put so much time and effort and money into this dream, I felt defeated. I had nothing left. And I think that feeling of starting again with nothing was terrifying. I had no idea. I felt like I wasn't good at anything. I was like, what job am I going to get? Like, I don't have a career that I can do. Like, what am I just going to, I don't know, have a job that I hate forever? It was there was nothing felt hopeful. And at the end of that year, that's sad. At the end of every year, I always, like around New Year's, I would always be really excited for the year ahead. I remember being like, it just felt like a new beginning at New Year's, and the start of every year. I'd always be like, it's a new year. It's another chance for my dreams to come true. And at the end of that year, it was the first time, and I remember writing in one of my journals. Again, like journaling never helped me. I never really liked it. I don't do it often, but I remember writing in one of my journals, this is the first New Year's that I have felt like no hope for the coming year ahead. And it was, it's that was hard. That was really hard. I think that was that was 2020 coming into 2021.
What comes up for you now? Like, when I see how emotional this makes you, is it a sadness for what that Alicia was feeling?
I'm so sad for her.
Yeah, me
so
too.
sad for her.
It makes me feel really sad.
Like, my life now, of course, I still have days where I don't feel good. As I said, like this situational depression that I can feel, like for sure it's there and it comes. But I feel so bad for her, like not having hope. Hope has always been something that I feel like I'd always had. I'm very resilient in terms of this career, in terms of
everything in your life. You're
I've always been really resilient. And it felt so strange to not have hope, and it felt really yuck to not have hope. And so thinking back to that little leash, I feel bad for her. I feel, if only she'd have known, because by the next New Year's, I had so much hope again. And a month or two later, I'd find out that I was pregnant. And it was just, time changes, time heals.
But this is so good for people to hear, Leash. Like I've got a girl I'm supporting at the moment, and she has been saying the same things to me about just feeling no hope, just feeling despair. And she just like wakes up and like just can't wait till it's time to go back to sleep and just can't see how things are going to get better and doesn't have any hope. And like that word kept coming up, and I was like, that really is what keeps us as human beings going. It's this hope. And like I've heard, it stands for hold on, pain ends. Like, and it's, something that I've really, when I speak to her, I'm like, we've got to find a way for you to get that hope back. And you just need a glimmer of it to hold on to. You just need a tiny
little something.
We are so resilient as human beings but we do need a little bit of hope in order for us to keep going. And to have none of that, like that makes me so sad that you were in that place. But also it makes me feel, I have a lot of gratitude that you're sharing this story, because I know it's going to help people, because there's a lot of people out there right now listening who are in that hopelessness spot. Yeah. And to see how you've turned your life around and how you live now with so much joy in your life and pleasure and excitement and adventure and experience, like you've turned your life around from a really dark place. Like you've never been this open with me about it. Like I didn't know how dark it was, the fact.
I don't know if I've ever been this open with anyone about it.
Yeah. Now you're just being this open with the whole world.
Letting the whole world know. But I think, and
so
as I was kind of saying,
it's so brave.
Like, it's why I didn't, I think, touch on any of it, because I was kind of like, it's situational. Like it's not like I wasn't born with clinical depression, and I haven't needed to be on antidepressants, and maybe I needed to be, I don't know. But I just felt like my pain wasn't enough, or it wasn't like, it didn't, it wouldn't be a story that people would resonate with.
I think
but then I listened to a podcast and I was like, oh, like that, she's telling that story, and there's obviously pain in her life, and I don't necessarily relate to it and completely understand it, but I feel it, and like I felt for her and hearing that story on this podcast. So I
think people will relate to your story a lot more than you realize.
Yeah, I hope so. I think that's why I was like, I need to open up more on the pod, because I want to help. I want to reach out, and it's connecting.
I'm so proud of you.
I love you. Thank you.
I'm so proud. I know this is not easy for you, and
it's a little scary. I'm kind of in this thing now where I'm like, cut it all out.
No, we're not cutting this out.
No,
this is authentic, and this is what Life Academy is about. It's about authenticity, and it's about helping and connecting other women and other people. And you are going to help so many people by sharing your truth and your story. And I'm so proud of you for being so brave, because I know this isn't easy for you. I know you're not an open book, and you don't wear your heart on your sleeve all the time.
Heart's not on the sleeve. I used to think I'd wear my heart. I wore my heart on my sleeve, but I don't.
No, you're protective, and I'm really proud of you for opening up and sharing, and to see how much emotion it still evokes in you shows me how painful it was. Like, I can talk about my stuff, which has been so dark and so fucked, and I don't get teary because I'm like, I've moved through it so much. But the fact that this still brings up so much for you, it just shows me like how much pain you were in.
It was, it sucked for a little while there. Yeah. And I think on and off throughout the years as well. Just that was probably my darkest. Actually, I had a pretty dark 2017 as well, but that's for another episode.
Well, we've got Mental Health Journey Part 3 coming up.
That's it.
Dena can tell more ridiculous rehab stories, and Alicia can dive even more. She's going to need like a month to recover from this.
Yeah, well, actually I do. I've got a little bit of homework or dream work for our listeners. I want everyone to, I guess, okay, so if you don't have kids, have a nap because
Have a nap, would
have
you?
some time and have a nap because sometimes I think like, oh, geez, I'd love a nap. And with a kid, majority of the time, like you might have to schedule in a nap to get like your kid watched so that you can have a nap. So if you don't have a kid, nap as much as you possibly can. If you do have a kid, go and eat chocolate or eat chips or find like your favorite shit meal that you love to eat and don't feel any fucking guilt for doing it. Just like feel good somehow because you most likely can't get a nap in if you can do that. But otherwise, like get that serotonin pumping from, or is it oxytocin, from eating something that you love. One of the good things. Dopamine. Get a good hit of something good from shit that you love eating and don't feel
guilty for it.
Yeah.
Don't punish yourself for it. I love it. I might do that today.
Yeah, do it.
Mine's sort of on the similar tangent. If you can afford to, I would recommend for everyone to book themselves a cleaner.
Oh,
Get your house cleaned for you. Get it vacuumed. Get your bed sheets changed. Get the windowsills wiped down.
Dirty to me.
Oh, honestly, we had cleaners come in last week and it was the best feeling to get into fresh sheets. They did
that
everything.
you didn't have to put on.
They did everything. They vacuumed, they mopped, the house smelled so clean. They organized Maya's toys. The whole area was organized. So if you can, find $100, whatever it is, book yourself a cleaner this month and just get your place cleaned and give yourself a nap or a good snack. This is like full self-care.
Full self-care.
Self-love mode.
After that episode, you need it.
You need it. Guys,
thank you so much. Thank you for being there, team.
Yeah, well, Life Academy is a safe space and I'm really proud that you were able to feel safe enough to bring this to the pod. And I hope that our beautiful listeners out there will be as empathetic and supportive as I know they are. And I love you so much. And I'm just so proud of you.
Thanks, my darling. I'm so proud of you. My gosh, everything that you've been through, Dee. I love you and I'm proud of you. And we could go on and on and on with all these lovely things, but I think the bell is about to ring.
Class is dismissed.
We love you.
We love you guys. Bye.